so many non-FBA blacks in power. So let's go on ahead, jump right into it, right? As touched on in the COINTELPRO video, the one little bullet point that sums it up, it was designed to suppress Black American political, social, and economic and revolutionary movements, right? Um, so any movement advocating for systemic changes against institutional racism, economic empowerment, and self-determination. And of course, the targets were all Black nationalist groups, Pan-African movements, all civil rights movement leaders, grassroots organizers were also under surveillance, investigation, infiltration, etc., assassination, you name it. What COINTELPRO was, who it targeted, what it did, what it was working to prevent. The question might be, well, damn, why were they working to prevent all of that? Well, let's see. Right out of slavery, you had a lot of brothers and sisters that didn't know how to read and write, but came out of slavery with skill sets in captivity. They were able to get paid for it. And because they were doing it during slavery, where their life and death or their physical harm and well-being might have depended on how good of a job they did, they were highly fucking skillful. Slavery coming into Reconstruction type era, a lot of these blacks started to get money and become business owners, and very good business owners. So when you think about very good black business owners, early 1900s, late 1800s, you may think of a Tulsa, Oklahoma. Correct. You may also think of a Wilmington, North Carolina. You may think of a Rosewood. There were numerous black towns across the United States that had successful black communities, including Atlanta. And because of this success, the a lot of times the neighboring white towns would attack these successful black ancestors, or residents of these towns, whether it was outright murder and intimidation, murder, intimidation, and outright arson, or murder, intimidation, and then when the blacks fled who weren't killed, the white people would just come in and take over their businesses and homes. And for those who might be thinking, well, damn, niggas ain't gonna run me out of my house. If some devils of the clan ran up on your community right now, hella deep, burners, AR-15s, all that wild shit, and you ain't equipped to handle that. Matter of fact, you and your whole community ain't equipped to handle that. Y'all gonna get the fuck out of Dodge. Matter of fact, you gonna hop in your Dodge Charger or Challenger and speed the fuck off into the sunset. The 5-bedroom house with the jacuzzi and all that shit is gonna be left wide open for them crackers to move on in. And that's what happened a lot of times in these situations in the past. But the long and short is, based on the prosperity that was demonstrated out the gate of being released from slavery, the predecessors of J. Edgar Hoover seen black prosperity as a threat to national security. As I will tell you forever, every time, national security translates as white supremacy. It's a threat to white supremacy. Why is black people getting money and being successful, and according to the bullshit that they spout, having a fair shot at everything in life and living the same quality of life, that's a threat to national security? But that's what y'all say in the Constitution and y'all Bill of Rights, the pursuit of happiness and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. This is why COINTELPRO was really popping off. It was one thing that, okay, these cats is getting money, now they want equal rights, now they protest. No, that's too much. Because as I told you in my other goddamn video, Black people were meant to be the bottom of American society. That's what made America so attractive to these foreigners coming here. You may have been a peasant wherever you came from, but at least you'll be better than a nigger because we were meant to be an original permanent bottom class. They didn't anticipate us getting money. They didn't anticipate us being creative, showing ingenuity, showing the same energy that we fucking, the same hard work and hustle that we put in during slavery. We was putting the shit in while we was free and surpassing them in a lot of areas of society. That's the why. Because of all of that, and because they assassinated pretty much most of our key leaders, that's when they started to pick motherfuckers out of the blue that looked like us but didn't have our cultural experiences, couldn't relate to us, and probably didn't give a fuck about us because they were so grateful to be in America. These are harsh realities that we got to understand and recognize. I'm not talking to the young people. The young people are usually pretty goddamn hip. I'm talking to the people my age and older who are set in their ways and like, oh no, that can't be the case, nigga. I'm about to run down a list of people in office right now that are damn tethers or most likely tethers. After the 1970s, there was a notable increase in the promotion or selection of black immigrants or first generation individuals to prominent positions in academia, business, and politics in America. Bing, 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 bing. Candidate number one, Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to be elected to Congress. That's just something for you to think about really quick as I'm dropping the gems of that I'm trying to give to y'all. So just like with Asians, how they are presented as the quote unquote model minority, so are Caribbean blacks and African blacks. You know what I mean? We hear about so much about Nigerians being, successful. We hear so much about, Jamaicans being, successful, hardworking, as if the black Americans here were not hardworking. You feel me? So it creates a divide and conquer type of situation too. But it also creates a further division in the black community because these individuals from the Caribbean or from Africa that are placed into these leadership positions here, once again, do not care or cannot relate because their ancestors did not live out the American experience. If you don't understand the experience, you are not going to fight as hard or if at all. I'm not from there, so I can't relate to the struggles of whoever they are. I don't have their bloodline, so I don't have the inherent shit that comes with the bloodline, meaning your parents are going to relay the history and customs and cultures and traditions of that land, as well as the struggles in that land, as well as the history of that land. So these individuals presented to us have none of that. So therefore, they are perfect puppets slash candidates for these devils to insert into black leadership. CIA and US foreign policy connections. A lot of times our government dealt with African elites, and, stuff of that nature. So as part of some of them deals being, manufactured to do whatever we need them to do over there, they might have snatched up. Okay, well we'll send your son over here. We'll send him to Harvard, Yale, and we'll make sure he's good. You know what I mean? We might even make him a congressman or some shit like that. Quid pro quo. I should have threw Barack up here. Barack is yet another example of somebody that was presented to us, but they got slick with it. They presented him to us in a way that it almost seemed organic, even though it was manufactured. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, 2 terms in office, he didn't really do too much directly for the black community like he did for the LGBT community and Latino communities. So, and I dare say even the Asian communities. So, for someone that is supposed to represent FBA, they did a whole bunch of non FBA shit. The bottom line on all this shit is COINTELPRO deaded FBA political power by assassinating key leaders, and the people that was left were the coons who bowed down to white supremacy, who I dare even say at this point might have been traitorous or treasonous within the black community and got the heads up and knew what was going to happen to King before he got hit, which is why he was rewarded with his political rise shortly after. He was somebody in the mix, in the cut when MLK was alive, but he was never that dude. After MLK is gone, he now becomes the main man. You feel me? So much so that by 1984, he's considering a serious run for United States president. And if you don't think them devils brought him in the back room and politicked all of this shit a month or two before they did and planned what they planned for MLK, then I got another thing for you. You know what I mean? Y'all ain't got y'all thinking caps on. All right, so let's keep this thing moving. So once again, the key reasons why these tethers are detrimental to black or FBA political future, these tethers do not have a shared historical experience because their ancestors didn't um, have a connection or a direct connection to chattel slavery in America, Jim Crow 1.0 and 2.0, as well as experience systemic racism on every level. They're not going to fight for you. They're not going to understand. That's like trying to give a motherfucker some coding language. You know what I mean? Here's Python. Go. Like, nigga, I don't even know how to use a computer. That's how they looking at the black FBA experience. They only know where they came from. And if they were first generation here, they were here experiencing all of the good parts of society while being taught the cultural parts of their society at the crib. Most every immigration generation that come here, what is the key? The key is to come to America, be successful, blend in, and merge, assimilate into American society. Let's never get that mistaken. So that's one. Number two, you have a dilution of reparations claims. If you got, once again, these cats who either are first generation from somewhere else and are put into position to get on that mic or sit in that seat and represent the county, the state, the government, whatever the fuck they representing, they not fighting. The reparations ain't even gonna be in their vocabulary because that's FBA talk. That's Black American talk. That's 500 years of the ancestors here putting in that work to make America great for these white folks, and we need our motherfucking cut. We need our check talk. They don't know that language because they ain't from here to have experienced it. Their ancestors ain't from here to have experienced it, so it's not gonna be in their vocabulary. They gonna look at it like, oh, why y'all niggas begging? But them same tether puppet ass niggas are never gonna ask why these Jews are asking for reparations, or why did they ask for reparations, and why they still getting reparations damn near 80 something years later after the fact. But they not considered beggars. These tethers aren't going to look at, some of the Japanese individuals that were held in internment camps who got reparations. They ain't going to say, well, why are these niggas begging? They shut the fuck up. Or some of the actual, uh, you know, Native Americans or people classified as Native Americans who may have even gotten reparations. These tethers are not going to ask, why are they begging? You feel me? So these are things you got to fucking put together. So, three, as I touched on briefly, they operating from a different cultural framework. The knowledge, the stories, the oral traditions that's passed down from grandparent to child to their child is going to be about where they came from. It ain't going to be about the Black American experience. Exhibit B. Exhibit D. Number four. Because they are tethers, they are going to be easier to be controlled and co opted by these white power institutions. The black immigrant is presented as a model minority. A lot of times they're going to be they grateful to be here, as opposed to the FBA, who is going to be like, man, fuck these devils. This is what you need. This is what we need, and this is what we going to goddamn fight to the death over. The tether ain't gonna be trying to. They not trying to do none of that shit. How can I help you? How can I please you, master? That's the energy that the tether is always going to give. Fuck what you heard. And then the other part of this point number four, you don't have to replace the black leadership. You just slowly shifting black tethers and get rid of the FBA slowly but surely, piece by piece. And if you don't believe me, we got some other examples here. Eric Holder, Yvette Clark out of New York, Sheila, Shafurlis McCormick, this millennial cat, Maxwell Frost, who names sound hella American, but my man is Puerto Rican, Lebanese. He like 4 or 5 different things. And in the mix of them 4 or 5 different things, my questions are, where does his agendas and interests truly lie? Who does he represent in the mix of all of that? So these are just a few examples, and we can't forget Ilhan Omar from Somalia, who's doing her thing up in Minnesota. But once again, is she representing Somalian interests or is she representing FBA interests? Y'all do your own due diligence. I'm not saying to never vote for one of these non FBA people running, but I'm telling you to look very fucking carefully at what they claim to stand for. What have they done in the past? What are they doing now? Who are they doing it for? Who is benefiting off of these moves of these people being put into office? By bringing in these tethers, it potentially undermines future FBA leaders that are coming up at the grassroots level. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, because of the grassroots level, they don't have the funding that these tethers do. The big money is going to fund the tether because the tether is going to operate in their interest, as opposed to FBA, who is definitely going to come in to try to force change and fight the system of white supremacy. Already kind of touched on it lightly before. It creates a division within the black community. It creates that further division between FBA and black immigrant. We see this all day on social media, every day, all day, but we don't understand why it's happening. And hopefully, in this breakdown today, I'm giving you the why. Now you can see how it's going down and then have that understanding. You know what I'm saying? So, the next point, number 7, there's going to be a lack of urgency in addressing systemic racism here in America. That tether is gonna be so grateful to be in America. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But these black people, they complaining about this. They don't know how good they have it. They don't know how good they have it here. Don't worry. Any issues they bring to me, and when I'm representing their district, if it's serious racial issues, they will never be acted upon or brought to a larger stage. That's the reality. Number 8, this gives the white people that talking point of, hey, these black immigrants, they work hard. If they can do it, why can't you? Nigga, you know why we can't. Because you've politically backed and funded your puppet, your tether. The real niggas gotta come up through the mud. Hence grassroots to hopefully try to get the similar level of exposure, TV time, influence, etc., built up. With white money behind these tethers, they could be just coming out of nowhere from the blue fucking yesterday, and these motherfuckers will have a whole campaign rolled out for these motherfuckers. Number 9, potential disconnection from local community needs. Now, I don't even think I need to break that one down. Because they not from the community, they ain't gonna be of the community and serve the community. And finally, the last reason why we can't fuck with these tethers because historically the ancestors politically have been radical, and every radical move that the ancestors did brought about change for the positive, step by step, piece by piece. And if you think I'm lying, take a look around. Look at TV. Go outside, nigga. Go downtown. Walk around. These LGBT groups would not have the rights that they had based if the FBAs didn't put in the work from a civil rights standpoint. Individuals that are how do they say it? I'm trying to give you the political correct. Um, the handicapable, the disabled, whatever term is more appropriate, they would not have the rights that they have. White women would not have the elevated rights that they now have over um everyone else based on the work put down by black men and women during the civil rights movement. If you realize the women's movement came right conveniently at the height of the black power movement. These niggas is getting too strong. We gotta fucking kill that energy. We gotta negate that energy. Then they come with this women's situation. Not to say that women shouldn't have equal rights. Of course, everyone in America should fucking have equal rights. Because up until these points of these revolutions and these movements, it was the white man who enjoyed all of the privilege, which for the most part in 2025, they still do enjoy most of the privilege. Latinos, Asians, everyone, the rights that all of you motherfuckers got came from the struggles of my ancestors, FBAs, who moved that motherfucking goalpost piece by piece, yard by yard, trying to get to the end zone. So, with that said, I'm just gonna run through the rest of the people on this list. We got Oye Owolewa, who he's a first Nigerian American elected to represent Washington, D.C. in the U.S. Congress. Now, looking at this brother, who interests do you think he representing? Is he representing African American interests or is he going to represent Nigerian interests? Once again, motherfuckers get into politics for one or two reasons: to either help the people or to help themselves financially by passing laws and deals, creating deals that will benefit them. Next, we got Naquita Ricks, a member of the Colorado state legislature who was born in Liberia. Nathan Bia, a member of the Rhode Island state legislature who is originally from Liberia. This is just a handful of people. I ain't want to throw Hakeem Jeffries on the list just yet. I didn't do enough research on him to put him on the list. But the long and short, hopefully you've seen enough to at least have the interest built up to say, you know what, maybe this nigga talking bullshit. Let me look and prove him wrong. Let me look and see what's really going on. When a motherfucker trying to prove you wrong, that's when they're gonna do the most research that they ever done in their life. So yeah, prove me wrong, dig deep, and if you dig 8 feet, nigga, I'm gonna dig 10 feet. So just understand, if you come at me with some slick shit, I'll be back on your ass quickly. So with that said, the final question I'm gonna close with: who are these tethers truly representing? Who are they truly working in the interest of? And who do they identify as? If they're running as the first Nigerian or the first Haitian or the first this and the first that, they are clearly representing that other. With that said, I'm gonna holla at y'all.